and take advantage. And start now with your families. Start now with your families. Don't wait until the first day of Ramadan. Because it's important that a person conditions themselves. They condition themselves for learning and for sitting for knowledge and to be patient in learning. And another thing I advise my brothers and sisters is to start early. To start early. And promote this amongst your family, amongst your wives, amongst your children, especially amongst your children, especially amongst your teenagers. Especially amongst the teenagers. One thing which is noticed is that the teenagers many times are left out. Many times the teenagers are left out in our preparation and in our getting together and sitting to discuss Ramadan, to benefit from the month and the likes of that. It's like the teenagers are disengaged. The young ones, yeah, they're happy. There's a lot going on with the young ones and the adults. But the age group that I feel is left out is the teenagers. It's like as if they're disengaged. And this is something which is from the plots of the shaitan. This is something which is indeed from the plots of the shaitan. We want to engage them. We want to bring them close. We want them to feel that this is a month for their benefit. For their benefit. For them to get closer to Allah. For them to purify their hearts. To purify their actions. We want them to be engaged. And one of the things, and there's several things, but one of the things that I could say is that it's upon the parents to not make Ramadan a living hell for their children, especially for their teenagers. And what do I mean by that is, we know that the Prophet ﷺ said, حُفَّتِ الْجَنَّةِ بِالْمَكَارِحِ وَحُفَّتِ النَّارِ بِالشَّهَوَاتِ. The Prophet ﷺ said that Jannah has been surrounded by difficulties, and the hellfire has been surrounded by shahwat, and the hellfire has been surrounded by desires. What I mean that making Ramadan a living hell for your children is that throughout the year, you allow them to participate and to view things that they shouldn't. At times, parents allow their children to, without any type of boundaries, they allow their children to watch movies, watch television, play video games. And I'm not saying everything that's on that is haram. I'm not saying that. But notice what I said, without any boundaries. Without any boundaries. There's some parents that they allow their children to watch anything they want to watch. From movies, from video games, and things which are inappropriate. Things which are, in fact, inappropriate. And there's no boundaries, and there's no limitations. And the parents are off doing whatever they want to do while their children have no limitations, no boundaries as it relates to, no restrictions as it relates to what they watch, what they view, and the games that they play. And we know that many games have things that are totally inappropriate for children. Inappropriate for adults, let alone children. Things that Muslims should not watch, Muslims should not play. Whether it's the language that's being used, whether it's the dress that's the dress of the women, whether it's the music, whether it's a combination of things. The violence, so many things. So many things can be mentioned as it relates to video games. So throughout the year, the parent has no restrictions, has placed no restrictions on the child, or has placed those restrictions but does not enforce those restrictions. So the child is left to do what he wants. And then Ramadan comes, and now the child is expected to be an angel. The child is expected to be righteous. The child is expected to cut off all of these things which have been feeding him and nurturing him with evil for the entire year. And then the parent wonders why the child finds it difficult to avoid this and to avoid these video games, to avoid these movies, to avoid the television, to avoid the devices. The parent becomes angry at his child because the child is not able to, because the child is addicted to these things. And the parent played his role in that. And the parent played his role in that.